Hi, this video will showcase an AutomationEdge workflow to get Jira Ticket Details and send response to Chatbot. Let us begin. I am in Process Studio. I have created a process Jira Get Ticket Details with Chatbot Response. We created the Get Jira Single Ticket Details in an earlier video in the Jira playlist. And I have created a workflow send response to Chatbot. We will build the Get Jira Ticket Details with Chatbot Response process and the send response Chatbot workflow. Let us begin with the process. Let us define the process parameters required to get the Jira Ticket Details and send response to Chatbot. Double click on the canvas, go to the Parameters tab, define a parameter, Jira Credentials, provide a description. It is of the type credential. We can provide the default values, username, password. In the parameter 1, provide the base URL. In the encrypted one, provide the Jira API token. Click OK. Next, define a parameter, additional info. It has all the details to send the response to the chatbot of the type string. Next, define a parameter for the chatbot endpoint. Provide a description. It is of the type string. And define a parameter for the ticket ID. Provide a description, type string. Provide a default value for the ticket ID. Click OK. Let us begin the process with a start step. Let us drag and drop two workflow executor steps. Let us call the first one Get Single Ticket Details and browse the Get Single Ticket Details workflow. In the Parameters tab, click Get Parameters. We had earlier defined these parameters in the Get Jira Single Ticket Details. Map it to the process parameters, Jira Credentials and Ticket ID. Click OK. In the logging settings, we will specify a log file. We will keep appending to the log file and we will create it in the current directory of the workflow. Let us call it List Incident Log and create a parent folder if necessary. Extension is txt. You can include date and time in the file and log level is basic. Click OK. Let us configure the second workflow executor step. Call it Send Chatbot Response and it refers to the Send Chatbot Response workflow. In the logging settings, specify log file. Keep appending to the log file. The name of the log file is the same we defined for the first workflow executor step. We will keep appending to the same file. It is of the type txt. You can add date and time. And log level is basic. We are yet to define parameters for the send chatbot response child workflow. So we will come back to this later. Click OK. Drag and drop a success step to complete the workflow. Drag and drop a set workflow result step for error handling. Connect the get single ticket details workflow executor step to the set workflow result for error handling. And similarly, the second workflow executor step also to set workflow result for error handling. Let us just rearrange and let us connect the set workflow result also to the success step to complete the workflow. This completes our process. We will come back to configure the send chatbot response parameters. Now let us go to the child workflow send chatbot response. Let us build the send chatbot response workflow. First, let us define local parameters. Local parameter chatbot endpoint and the description, the success message to get ticket details and the description, the AE status coming from the get ticket details workflow, description, the error message coming from the get single ticket details workflow, the additional info parameter, description, the ticket ID for which we are fetching the details, the ticket title or the short description, the ticket creation date, and the status. Click OK. Just check parameters are of the type string. Only A status is true or false, that is a boolean. Click OK. We have defined the variables. Let us go to the parent process and let us configure the send chatbot response. In the parameters tab, get the parameters, map them to the process parameters. The rest of the parameters are coming from the get Jira single ticket details workflow. So we will configure them later directly in the send chatbot response workflow. Click OK. Let us check variables in the get Jira single ticket details. We have defined the variables AE status, success message, short description, creation date, status, AE status, success message, error message. We will use these parameters in the other child process, that is send chatbot response. Let us start the workflow with a get variable step. get the variables, retain the required parameters. Now we will map them appropriately. So we have mapped the parameters either to parameters in the parent process or coming as output from the get Jira single ticket details workflow. Click OK. Next, drag and drop a JavaScript step. Let us configure it. Define some variables and the JSON body to send in the chat response. Get the variables to send the variables as fields in the stream. The JSON body includes the additional info, the workflow name, the workflow status, incident details, that is ticket ID, creation date, status, and short description. In the case of error, provide a suitable AE message for failure and also pass the other parameters in the JSON body. Click OK. Drag and drop a write to log step. Let us configure it. Call it before sending response and log at the basic level. Drag and drop an advanced REST client step. Let us configure it. It is a post HTTP request and get the URL from a field, that is chatbot endpoint. The request body is of type raw and pass the JSON body. In the HTTP response, in the response body, we will provide a field name, update chatbot result. Click OK. Drag and drop one more write to log. Call it after sending response and log at the basic level. Click OK. Drag and drop two set workflow result steps. Let us configure the set workflow result. Call it set success message. In the success, select AE status. In status, provide status. And in message, select AE message. Click OK. Now before we configure the second set workflow result, let us right click on the advanced REST client step. In the error descriptions field name, provide update chatbot error. Click OK. Now connect the advanced REST client to the set workflow result as the error handling step. Configure the step. Let us call it set failure message. In the success, provide false. In the status, provide diverted. In the message, select AE message. In the output parameters, create a parameter chatbot status, provide a display name, and the value is the error description field name, that is update chatbot error. Click OK. This completes the send chatbot response workflow. Now publish your process on AutomationEdge and start conversation on a configured chatbot. It should invoke the workflow to complete the request and send the response back to chatbot. I'm in the chatbot. Let me start a conversation to get single ticket details. I typed my utterance. Please provide the incident key. So I can provide the incident key or I can type cancel to exit. I'm providing the incident key. It's working on the request. Let us check AutomationEdge. In the requests menu, the Jira get incident details workflow has started and it is complete, and the response has also come on the chatbot. As per the workflow design, it has retrieved the creation date, title, and status details of the ticket. We saw a workflow to get Jira ticket details and send response to chatbot using REST client and JSON input steps. Thank you for watching.